let's talk about shifting coalitions, evolving mandates, and a sort of electorate that has been an ubiquitous part of India's political landscape. But as we move forward, the question is not just about who leads, but who is actually competing visions for India that play out with its dynamic democracy.
And you know, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker has been an active participant in this evolving narrative, bringing both parliamentary experience and policy insight to the table. In just a few moments from now, we are going to be joined by Karti Chidambaram, Member of Parliament in Lok Sabha. And ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this another very interesting discussion, this conversation that's going to be moderated by Senior Executive Editor Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, I would like all of you to please join us in this very important conversation on social media. Use the hashtag TNS Summit 2026. Let's join our hands together to welcome Mr. Karti Chidambaram, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, for a conversation on future of INDIA with Senior Executive Editor, Input Times Now, Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Hina, as well as Amita. Thank you so much, Mr. Karti Chidambaram, for joining us. And, you know, I want to take off from the previous conversation. One of the last few questions that has become very, very topical, it's very unusual for a film to become this political, is the film of Dhurandhar. I hope you don't mind being a bit candid. Have you seen either Dhurandhar 1 or 2?
I haven't seen the movie, but I know that there's been, I've been tagged in social media ever so often about it. And I know in another previous interview, somebody asked me about it as well. I mean, this is the usual tactic of the government to have this gossip innuendo all sort of thrust into, you know, movie, and, you know, it's part of their propaganda exercise. But I've seen, I know that there are some references. I laugh about it. And Smita Prakash, in fact, asked me about it. I said the producer should have spoken to me. I could have maybe suggested somebody as a cameo. If somebody's going to play my role, I could have suggested somebody. So I don't know. I mean, I don't take these things seriously, but this is part of how propaganda works in today.
You were not offended?
No, if I have to be offended, I have a lot of things to be offended. This is the least of the things I should be offended about. There are many things which offend me, but this is just, I have a good laugh about it.
Who would have portrayed your character?
Oh, I actually wanted Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to, you know, the key issue, and one of the things that everyone's looking forward to in terms of this election is what will happen in your home state of Tamil Nadu. What really is the preparation for this election? 2 terms, you know, does the DMK have the edge in this election? Will anti-incumbency play a role? What is your prediction?
See, our alliance is the largest alliance, and traditionally in Tamil Nadu, the large alliance always wins. And the image of the Chief Minister, the reputation of the Chief Minister is pretty good. And in fact, he's got a little bit of an elder statesman image right now. The growth in the state is good. So I think we'll pip past the post. We should comfortably win and form government.
We saw a little bit of sparring before the elections, though. Some of your party's leaders were demanding for a share in the government, something that's not happened for decades. They were asking for more seats. Was it just a bargaining tactic ahead of polls, or was there something more?
We are a large political party. We've not been in government since 1967. So there are, obviously we have expectations, but we have to temper our expectations with the limitations of alliance politics. So there was, of course, loud thinking. There were certain members of our party who perhaps wanted to explore other options, but I think the vast majority, and particularly the MLAs, all wanted the alliance to continue. And you must understand that this is not a new alliance. This alliance has been on since 2004. This alliance was formed by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and the late Chief Minister Karunanidhi. So this is a time and tested alliance. Except for the 2014 election, we have contested all elections together, and we have won by and large most elections. So this is a proven track record. This alliance has a proven track record, and that there was not much of an appetite to look at other options, even though there were a few members who perhaps indulged in a little bit of loud thinking, which could have, you know, led to some heartburn here and there. But it's all sorted out now. Our alliance is intact. Our, you know, seats have been, and the number of seats have been agreed upon. And seat identification is going on now. We'll put up credible candidates, and we are very confident of winning the elections.
Big X factor everybody talks about is Vijay. As a superstar, he's peaking. He's very popular. We've seen huge crowds. Will these crowds actually translate into votes? And who will he hurt more? Will he hurt the DMK, or will he hurt the opposition?
He's no doubt a popular movie star. He's got a large fan base. Whether this fan base will convert itself into a vote, and whether that vote will convert into seats is a long journey. I think he will poll significantly. He'll perhaps surprise many by the percentage of votes he gets. But I'll be very surprised if it converts into seats, because he really doesn't have a proper command and control structure in his party. It still behaves like a large fan association. And he's going to struggle in putting up credible candidates in 234 constituencies. At the moment, there is this euphoria because he's a very popular movie star, and he's, and in Tamil Nadu, there's always been a yearning for a non-DMK, non-ADMK formation. So people sometimes might get a little excited. But once he starts putting up candidates, and in the local area, people realize that this candidate doesn't have any kind of brand equity or any kind of social connect, and that campaign will slowly start going down. We are noticing that even now, because as we get closer and closer to election, we still don't know probable candidates from him. There are no strong contenders on a seat-by-seat basis. And whether they will have the resources, because, to take on these two other large formations and sustain an election for 3 weeks is a tough question to answer.
It would have made more sense for him to ally with one of the...
I'm not here to advise him. I'm not here to advise him. Many movie stars have attempted to come into politics, and many have failed. And in fact, it's a myth in Tamil Nadu to believe that movie stars succeed in politics. Except for M.G. Ramachandran and Jayalalitha, every other movie star's foray into politics has been a misadventure. And even in our neighboring state, except for N.T. Ramarao, because that was in another era, everybody else has eventually embraced the coalition strategy for politics. So going alone, purely based on your box office popularity, has not necessarily been a formula for success.
Do you see parties wooing him, at least post-poll, if not pre-poll?
No, it all depends on only if you have seats, yes, you will be in demand. If you have no seats, nobody will even pay attention to you. And I can't see seat conversion happening, because in a three-way contest, he needs to touch a certain threshold to convert seats. And I've not seen any data suggest that, and that's not the feedback I'm getting from my social listening or by interacting with my own party members.
Right. So this whole thing about him cutting across various alliances becomes secularly
He will definitely secularly get votes, and he's also going to get a part of the anti-incumbency vote. There is an anti-incumbency factor. There's always an anti-incumbency factor against any government, and that, in my opinion, helps us. The fact that he will take away some of the anti-incumbency votes, which is naturally votes which don't come to our formation, which would have gone to an opposition. Since the opposition is divided, and as Pranoy Roy always says, there's something known as IOU in politics, Index of Opposition Unity. If the opposition is divided, the ruling party, the ruling formation has an advantage, and I think we'll take that advantage.
Right. Coming back to your alliance, you wanted 45 seats, the DMK only gave you 28. Is there some heartburn?
See, this kind of, as I said, expectations have to be tempered with limitations. Every political party wants to maximize their opportunity to contest elections, and a large political party will have probable candidates in pretty much in every seat. This is natural, this is normal. This kind of negotiations, this kind of throwing up numbers, this kind of tempering it down, it's all not part of in any coalition negotiation. This is not unusual, this is not happening for the first time, but eventually everything settles down. Now we will identify seats, we'll put candidates, we'll run a robust campaign, and we'll get on with winning the elections.
Right. You're also chairman of the campaign committee, as for the Manifesto committee, I beg your pardon, of Tamil Nadu Congress. What is it that you're going to, promise as far as...
To be honest, nobody reads manifestos, So, and we're not going to be the governing party of Tamil Nadu. We are an alliance with potentially the party which is going to form government. At best, this can be a roadmap for the issues which we will raise. I intend to bring out a manifesto in a postcard size, so that there are only a few points which people will be able to absorb, and and be able to the party will be able to intone it regularly. And this could be issues which we will raise consistently over the next 5 years. I don't think anybody is looking forward to the Congress manifesto as some sort of blueprint for governance, because we're not going to be in government. We're hardly contesting 28 seats. So this is going to be what I've already told my party is we are going to highlight issues which will affect the common person, and which are issues which we can raise consistently over the next 5 years, whoever is in government.
Very interesting point you've made about the postcard. I don't know if you've asked your party leadership, have they agreed to this kind of a...
No, I will write a longer document, but I said nobody will read the longer document. I know the experience of manifestos. You can quiz your viewers as well. Nobody remembers anything in the manifesto. Today, everything is bite-sized, so I intend to give the manifesto also in a bite-sized format.
My question was actually a little different in terms of what I was aiming to ask you. Tamil Nadu's and many states in this country are known for offering freebies in their manifesto. Is it going to be a freebies free manifesto? Because we've seen the impact these freebies have had on economies of different states.
The ADMK, which is in alliance with the BJP, has promised refrigerators, and I don't see the BJP, which has been mocking other political parties, react to it. They have released their manifesto yesterday. They are going to give some groceries, and they are going to give a refrigerator. They are given all kinds of things. No, I don't believe in giving products. I believe in direct cash transfer. I firmly believe in direct cash transfer. I call it universal basic income, and there is a big multiplier effect in giving a universal basic income. As it is in our villages, we don't have any kind of investment, so there's not much of a business activity. By infusing liquidity into the rural economy, you're encouraging people to spend. They spend the money around their area of residence, is normally within 2 to 3 kilometers. And if you ask any economist to go and measure the impact of direct cash transfer, and you will find salutary results. So I believe in a universal basic income, and that will be one of the points which I hope we will enforce in our manifesto as well. Right. But I believe in that wholeheartedly. I don't think it's a freebie. I think it's good economics. It directly goes to the woman's account, and that money is spent in the local economy, and it multiplies the local economy. I think there has been a stat in saying that every rupee given as a direct cash transfer actually brings a minimum of 2x benefit to the local economy.
Right. I want to take you back to 3rd December 2023. You tweeted 2 words. The South, exclamation mark, and that tweet went viral. Now, how much of that is actually playing on your mind, on your party's mind in this entire election? Because repeatedly, the DMK, of course, is a party that repeatedly raises these issues of South being treated badly, whether it's about devolution of central funds, whether it's the larger issue, of delimitation, so on and so forth. How much of that's going to play a role when you go to the people?
I think our regional identity is very important, and we are a distinct people. We're linguistically a different, distinct people, and I think it's important to preserve our identity, and anything which is going to erode or is going to overrun us will be highlighted. And I think the BJP, because the ADMK has an alliance with the BJP, this will be an issue as well, and we will highlight that, because the BJP believes in uniformity is unity, whereas we believe in unity in diversity, and there is always a one-size-fits-all which the BJP seems to thrust on this country, which we will resist. There are nuances which will come out about our distinct identity, and that will definitely play up in the election. And we are also concerned about delimitation. If you're going to have delimitation purely based on population, we don't want to be disenfranchised. At the moment, we are, if including Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, we are 1/2 of UP. In terms of UP has 80 seats, we have 40 seats. But if delimitation is going to say increase seats in UP to 150 and just go to only increase us to say 50, we become 1/3. We become even more irrelevant. So we'll definitely resist all these moves.
Right. You must have seen yesterday itself there was an issue raised by one of the BJP members, Devi Shergill. He questioned the need for members of parliament to come dressed in t-shirts, collared t-shirts, polo t-shirts. What do you think about this Rajya issue of dress code in parliament?
I mean, if you're going to have a dress code, have a dress code. I mean, for example, in the US Senate, you can't go in without a suit and a tie. I mean, are we going to have a dress code? So, but what is considered proper, what is not considered proper is something which must be defined. I mean, I've seen people who just come with just a shawl over their shoulders. I mean, I've seen some people who are, who just come in with a dhoti and a shawl with no stitched garment, only woven garment. So how are we defining this? What is proper, what is improper? Are we going to be wasting time on this kind of triviality? I don't know. So.
But you wear a veshti in parliament and you're wearing a suit today.
No.
So the clothes also speak some amount of, the location that you are,
in Tamil, there is a saying known as Aal Padi, Aadai Padi. The man is half and what he wears is half. The reason I wear a vesti and shirt to parliament is because I'm very proud of the fact that I represent Sivaganga, which is in a southern district of Tamil Nadu. And in order to reinforce the cultural identity, I wear there. The reason I don't wear a vesti outside is I think if I wear a vesti all the time, younger voters think I'm a fuddy-duddy and they think I'm too dated. So in order to be more relevant to that audience, I dress differently elsewhere. That's all. I make a point with it. That's it. But others might not want to make a point with the clothes they wear. That's it.
Do you think that's the reason why Mr. Rahul Gandhi wears a t-shirt and loose baggy pants?
I can't answer
appeal to the Gen Z?
I can't answer why somebody chooses to wear something or not. I mean, I think the Prime Minister is overdressed most of the time anyway. So.
Okay. Mr. Rijiju was sitting in the same seat that you're sitting in this morning, and he made a very interesting point. He says that it's not about the respect or the individual themselves. You may respect or disrespect an individual, but as the LOP, that chair commands a certain respect. He gave the example of Mr. Somnath Chatterjee used to dress very casually. When he was made the speaker and he occupied that chair, he used to dress very formally. As LOP, do you think that the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs has a point?
I'm not going to be drawn into this. It's an individual choice, and everybody makes their individual choice about their own choice of clothing. I mean, so I'm not really going to be getting drawn into this. So.
All right. Mr. Karti Chidambaram, the Grand Old Party controls only 3 states of India today. You are in alliance in several other states. But what does this really show about the future of the Congress party? Because there have been several elections, and I'm not going to get into how many elections have been won or lost, but the point is the party is only in a fraction of where it was at one point of time, just about a decade ago.
See, we don't really have time to discuss why we have declined in other places. But in the Hindi heartland, this agenda of the BJP saying that they are the protectors of the Hindutva cause seems to have a certain amount of currency. That pushes us back. But if you go outside the Hindi heartland, we are very competitive in many states. There are at least 12 states where we are very, very competitive. But in other states, for various reasons, we have slipped behind. But that's not something which we can, sort out in a short conversation here. But obviously, we've not had the electoral success the BJP has had recently. But that does not mean the Congress is washed out or is done with. There is an opportunity for us, but we also need to communicate better. We need to look at each state, look at the political grammar in each state, and reinvent ourselves. And I'm not very familiar, or I can't offer advice to other states. But in Tamil Nadu, I think there are certain things we could do to become much more relevant than what we are right now.
Right. What are the things that BJP points out, and we've seen also Priyanka Gandhi, her speeches, whether it's an engagement in Parliament, even the government says that, at least she listens to speeches. Do you think that her approach, the manner in which the opposition deals or engages as far as parliamentary democracy is concerned, and you've been a parliamentarian for some time, do you think that is also a role model for what opposition can do?
No. Please, it's not just about Priyanka Gandhi. The government doesn't give space for the opposition to raise issues of our choice. They want, not one adjournment motion has been admitted by the Honorable Speaker till date. I mean, if you traverse through the records of Parliament, I've never seen such a long spell of somebody being in the chair disallowing every adjournment motion. In parliamentary parlance, there's something known as saying that the government can have its way, but the opposition must be given its say. So why is the government so insecure? This is a very insecure government. This government doesn't behave like a third-term government. They're always so coy about allowing the opposition to raise any issue of our choice. They can always vote us out. They have the numbers. Because they have the numbers, that's why they're in government. But why do they always stifle us and not allow us to raise issues which we think are important of the day? It's a judgment call we are making. We will raise that issue. They can vote us out. They can have a debate in Parliament. If the vote is called for, they will win the vote. If they firmly believe the issue we are raising is irrelevant, the people will ignore us. But they can't decide what issues we will raise. That's the fundamental problem in Parliament today. The government wants to decide what issues can be debated. They don't want to give us any space. And even when we raise the issue, they want us to put us in a very narrow channel and say, oh, you can't refer to this, you can't say this, this is not allowed. So they can't be deciding the content and tenor of how we present our points as well. And that's exactly what's happening in Parliament. And that's why things break down, and that's why Parliament at times becomes dysfunctional.
But they say there was an attempt to get out the Prime Minister, there were lady MPs.
I'm not aware of that at all. I mean, I don't think there was any attempt to do that. The Prime Minister wasn't in the House at that time, and the House wasn't even in session. So this is yet another of these soft propaganda which circulated, with no evidence, none whatsoever.
Right. There's been a demand from various India bloc allies that there should be a rotational leadership as far as the alliance is concerned. Whether it's the SP, whether it is the TMC, there are various leaders who express this view at various points of time. Do you think that's a good idea?
I agree with that. Because the most successful coalitions in India, if you look at the past coalitions, one was the UF government, the coalition. At that time, the largest party was not the convener of the coalition. Not the leader. The leader, the Prime Minister, can come from the larger party. But the convener was always somebody from a smaller political formation. In fact, during the UF days, it was Mr. Surjit who was the convener. And during the Vajpayee, when he ran the 5-year coalition successfully, the convener was Mr. George Fernandez, also from a smaller party. So I believe that somebody from a smaller party being the convener will actually help the coalition. And it's not a bad idea to have a rotational convener between various other parties. I agree with that line of thinking.
So is that something you've discussed within the party?
It's my personal view. I don't know whether the party collectively agrees with what I say, but I really believe that for the India bloc to have a rotational convenership is a good idea.
Okay. At this point of time, we were looking about war. There is Israel and US versus Iran that is underway. Iran has attacked several Middle Eastern countries. You know, this whole narrative of India having surrendered is something that we've seen coming from the Congress party since Operation Sindoor. There is that view that is expressed, and there are those who also counter the view, saying that India has very deftly managed its position when it comes to diplomacy. Where do you stand?
No. See, when we talk about surrender, we are actually talking about the India trade deal, where we seem to have given up more than we have gained. That's where we are talking about the surrender. As far as the America-Israel, Iran conflict, in my personal opinion, we have no role none whatsoever in it. This is a unilateral war which the United States has initiated at the behest of Israel. I don't think anybody has taken us into confidence. I don't think anybody is looking towards us to bring about peace or mediation. We are not a relevant player in this. We are obviously a victim in this whole thing, because our energy supplies are disrupted, our trade routes are disrupted. So we are facing the consequences, but I don't think Iran or America or Israel is looking towards India for any mediation or even any kind of moral leadership in this whole thing. But we definitely are facing the fallout of this unwanted war. The surrender part of it is what we are saying is that we have surrendered to the American administration in terms of the trade deal, for which we still do not have the details. We saw a spike in the tariffs, then we saw a social media post about the reduction in the tariffs, but we still do not have the details, and there's complete opaqueness in terms of dealing with that. What have we given up? What is going to be the ramifications for each sector? Nobody seems to know. That's where we're talking about the surrender, not in relationship with Iran, Israel and America.
But getting the ships out of the Gulf, ensuring
that's just an operational thing which everybody else is getting. I don't think this is some special privilege India is getting. The real test is our energy supplies are disrupted. I mean, there is anxiousness on the street, and there's anxiousness in the market. It's up to the government to augment our energy supplies and make sure that we have other supply routes. I mean, I can only fault the government on one count. Maybe they didn't anticipate this and they didn't build other supply chains. But as far as this war is concerned, my personal view is that India has zero role, and we have zero leverage over the events which are unfolding before us.
All right, Karti Chidambaram, thank you so much for speaking to us here at the Times on Sunday.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.